What up, everybody? Welcome back to Feral Publications YouTube channel. This channel we talk about zines and DIY publishing. And today I sat down and read two zines from Monnie, or Art and Zines by Monnie, and one of them was called A Cultural Look at Memes. Now I'm gonna review both, but I feel like each of these zines was that thought-provoking that I feel like they warrant their own videos. So today we're gonna talk about A Cultural Look at Memes, and then tomorrow we'll get into the other zine. But this first one, A Cultural Look at Memes, is really a very, very well said and well thought out kind of argument. I agreed with the thesis that she points out and basically clearly states, and the supporting documents that she gives. Like it's really amazing work. But let me show you the zine real quick. Definition of meme: an idea, behavior, style, or usage that spreads from person to person within a culture. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that in a few decades, this boom of memes in the 2010s will be looked back on as a zeitgeist and analyzed as an art movement. So the zine is well put together. The paper quality is amazing, and like I said, I always love it when they're sewn. That just looks aesthetically fucking pleasing. It looks amazing. But the things that it really made me think about was kind of like, who defines art? How do we define art? Because this is the art definition. And it reads: art, something that is created with imagination and skill and that is beautiful or that expresses important ideas or feelings. Also, works created by artists. So if that's the definition of art, then someone being creative and imaginative in any way is very artistic. Now, I think that anyone that subscribes to this channel, like our community, like we understand that like art is not always fine art, and art doesn't have a set structure. It's very fluid. And so like someone like me, I feel like skateboarding is very artistic, right? I feel like even like manual labor, certain people can tap into that so creatively and imaginatively that it becomes art, you know? And so art, I think, is less of it should look like this, or it should read like this, or it should have a 3-act structure, and it should have A, B, C, D, and more that it's creatively and imaginatively done. And so is memes art? Absolutely. And at that, like I said, like Monnie's argument that memes are an art movement of this era, of this digital era, absolutely, man. And at that, it made me think of a friend I have who's also an anarchist and does organizing, and in recent times he's become more of what he refers to as a meme warrior, where he says he disseminates so many memes and they go viral at times, and he's basically having these memes that are basically making anarchist arguments and anarchist critiques of the current political situation, but he does it in a way that's so welcoming to just about anybody. And that's my point of like, I feel like memes are a very powerful tool, whether politically or artistically. And it's something that is of this era, this phenomenon that we haven't seen to scale like this before. Because I feel like there has been, and she talks about that in the zine, right? Like the Dada movement, which I don't know if you guys have heard of Dada art, but I had a bunch of homies from LA that were part of a Dada art collective. And so, well, if you're not familiar with Dada, let me go ahead and tell you guys what that is. I also recently saw a TikTok comparing memes to the Dada art movement, and we may be living through a neo-Dada movement, which I found a very interesting theory. So Dadaism was an art movement of European avant-garde in the early 20th century, later moving to the US and Paris. Dada artists reject logic and reason and often reject modern capitalist society by expressing nonsense, irrationality, and anti-bourgeoisie protests in their work. Argument that could be considered Dada art, because I feel like memes are very intentional, whereas Dada art sometimes it really is left to interpretation. That has been my experience with Dada art, and so like I feel like memes always kind of have a set intention and intent to communicate an idea, an emotion, or a feeling that we can all relate to, or like she says in the zine, Monnie says in the zine, or like subgroups can relate to, right? And so I absolutely agree with that, in the sense of like, it is a very avant-garde kind of art medium, but I don't feel that it is Dada art, because like I said, Dada art to me is more fluid than memes. Memes have an intent every time someone sits down to make a meme. There's a point, there's a joke, and any joke there's a setup and then a punchline. But I absolutely love the zine, and like I said, like there's another zine that we'll get into tomorrow. I feel like Monnie has a very, very strong sense of structuring an argument, of making a point, and the points that she makes are very poignant. So like it definitely takes a little bit of time to kind of like really break it down in your own head as to what you think or don't think. So, you know, I don't know, what do you guys think, man? What do you guys think about memes? Do you guys think memes are art? Do you guys think that memes are just jokes? Do you consider jokes art? Because I feel like stand-up comedians are very artistic as well. And I guess that's the point of like, who gets to define art, right? But if we all agree with the Webster definition of art, then I think that art is left to interpretation, right? What do we consider to be creative and imaginative and expressing feelings and ideas? But that's all I got for you guys today, man. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Lates.